Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Chef Life. Today we're at the beautiful old George in Barnsley with our friends Gareth and Andrew. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hello.
So we worked with you guys for 5 years nearly. I think we worked out the other day. She's crazy, been through a lot.
It's been a journey.
So yes, we've got now 3 sites.
Yep.
Looking at maybe the 4th.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the fifth.
And the 5th from Gareth. Yeah. Whenever I think I'm doing a bit too much, I'm like, just have to go. So what I really like is I feel we've kind of developed together in terms of menu, and you guys are always pushing it with different creations in the kitchen and stuff, and equally the people you service in Barnsley. So kind of want to start at the beginning, like what brought you to buying the old George and stuff. That'd be great.
I've just been talking about this morning. So, we adopted a little boy. Is this what you want to talk about? Like telling us right from the very beginning.
What do you want to talk about?
Right, we adopted a little boy, and life was very tough with this little boy. Maybe a lot more care needs than we anticipated, and a lot more trauma than we anticipated for this little boy. So when we had some adult time, we needed to recharge our batteries and do bits and pieces for ourselves, to make sure that obviously we were mentally stable to be able to provide the care for this little boy that he needs.
Yeah.
And what we used to do is go to coffee shops because we kind of thought it was socially unacceptable to be going to a pub at lunchtime and having a few pints and then going to a little lad.
You're in Barnsley, it's absolutely fine.
Probably would have been in hindsight. So we used to go to coffee shops. But then when we came to Barnsley, it's like we live in Barnsley. Barnsley's our hometown. 5-minute walk away, and we're home from the town centre. There were nothing here for us. So we always were venturing out every day, like to Leeds, to Sheffield, to Manchester some days.
And it wasn't just the coffee, we were in search of coffee because that's what we like, but that alternative food offering.
And the vibe and all the bits and pieces. But then what we found ourselves having is, say we're in Leeds or something, then we get a phone call from the school and we'd be like, oh, bug off, we need to run back to Barnsley like really fast because the child needs it. So that went on for a long period of time, maybe over a year. You were back at work.
Yep.
I was still off work, and I was a teacher. You was a hairdresser. And every time when I tried to go back to work, our little placement with Briley came to struggle, to the point of where the social worker kept intervening and saying it's not time for you to go back. You need to have some more time off. So after about 18 months, I were nagging at Andrew saying, come on, surely there's more than me and you that want a nice coffee shop in Barnsley.
Definitely.
Let's try this, let's do this. And our mindset then was that we can both take our little lad to school, we can come and have some adult conversation in a work environment, and then we can go home and be together as a family after we've done everything that we need to do. But also we're there in the locality in case our little lad needs us. We can react to things and we can drop the shop if we need to drop the shop, and hopefully we build a better support network around us. Hence why Old George was born.
And we were right, people did want more. It wasn't just us that wanted something more from Barnsley.
I think you guys like the way. Because if you look at what's happened in Barnsley from you guys starting, I feel the whole town's upskill. Yeah. Still Barnsley.
I think we're doing amazing.
Yeah.
It's becoming a destination where people are coming from outside of town. And the council probably did say that to us, didn't they? In a number of meetings we've had with them. I'm getting nosy. I'm involved in everything. I like to go to all the meetings. I know everybody who knows bits and pieces because I'm it's vested interest for me to make sure our town survives. So we survive. So that's why I'm involved in all these little meetings.
I mean, you just look at the weekend just gone, Barnsley Live. It was the biggest, the best that it's ever been. It was mobbed. Yeah. And that's what the town needs. Yeah. And as that's developing, we need to continue to develop as well, which we will do and push forward.
You always push forward. That's what I always enjoyed about your premises, that you've always had a community, whether it be technology focused or menu focused or improvements to the site or where you move the kitchen to or the bakery you put in. It's great. You don't just. I see so many outlets, whether it be restaurant or whatever, just staying. They put a lot of investment in and they just stay and they don't.
And that's fine for some people, or people like us who get bored. And we need to change. We need that excitement and that draw and
That keeps customers coming through the doors.
Yeah.
Customers will say that to us. Customers will say, it's always nice to come in here because you never know what you're going to find, something else to be new, what's new today. They're expecting something from us. Yeah. And if it goes quiet, you'll get customers asking, like, well, what are you doing? Yeah. What's going on? Yeah. Because they know something's going to be going on.
Yeah. It's brilliant. But then I think it's testament to every time you are busy all the time. But again, it's the same faces, but new faces too. And even on my Instagram's full of people always coming out or maybe or whatever.
What's nice is it surprises us sometimes as well, doesn't it? We've got a really lovely customer base, and actually that customer base, they're a cracking bunch of people. We have some. Barnsley has its stigma. It has its kind of its thing attached to it all, but actually we've got some amazing people in Barnsley. We've got some fantastic customers.
It's a hidden gem, I think, man. Yeah. So I grew up in Wakefield. Then I bought the first house in Carlton. I say because I love the people. Yeah. But then not a lot of people think to come to Bath.
No.
No.
I mean, Gareth's from Sheffield. Gareth was born and raised in Sheffield, so not too far away. Yeah. I was born and raised in Barnsley, but we decided to move to Barnsley together.
Yeah.
More money for your home.
More. Yeah. Absolutely. No, but I like the people like training in Barnsley. My friends are in Barnsley, kind of where I've sort of roots if you want. But no, I love it. I think it's a hidden gem.
But what I was saying, like with Saturdays particularly, is when you're downstairs and you're meeting and greeting people, you see your familiars, you see your regulars, but then you see some new faces, and it's a constant thing. You get this constant influx of new people. Yeah. And it's just a steady stream, and that's really nice. And then the occasional review gets put on there where never been to this place before, love it, and it means the world, as you know yourself, as a small business. Those little bits that people give you, it really makes you want to do more.
It's funny because the last two people we've been talking to, we talked to Mark from the Owl and Late, and then Mike from Clarendon last week. And they both said similar, but then they also said the same for us, the same for you. One bad review might get 10 great reviews, and one bad review. Because you're chasing that perfection no matter what you're doing, whether it's what you guys are doing, which I think is fantastic in terms of brunch and pushing the menu and things for a local establishment, all the way through to a Michelin rated place. I think that super perfection shines in building, the staff, your premises, what you're serving on the plate, all that kind of stuff, which is great. But I really like how you guys put the bakery on site. You've kind of taken those brand ownership bits. I think a lot of other people in your position wouldn't think to do.
But do you know why we did that? Because Barnsley, you get on the phone to people and you go, right, I want this, and this, and they go, you in Barnsley? No, we don't come to there. So for years we've had real, not bad situations, but like you can't get the cakes, you can't get the bread, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I know that obviously working with you've done very well in terms of like helping us with certain products that we need. But in terms of like these daily fresh like cakes and stuff, nobody would come. So you either do I set myself a challenge? I used to meet a guy from a supplier that we had when we first started, and he wouldn't come to Barnsley, so I had to drive halfway, and he used to meet me halfway at Wakefield, transfer brownies into the back of the car, and then drive back.
So dodgy.
And then hand him some money. Yeah. So like, as we've gone on, I thought, well, I don't really want to be spending 2 hours going backwards and forwards doing that. Yeah. And then also having what he tells us we can have. We wanted to do some different things. We wanted to obviously just be a bit more in control over things.
And not have the dodgy look of exchanging money in the car park.
So that's exactly why we started, because we just thought, right, let's do this.
Then I think what you've brought here through that and everything else you've done from the start is, so I spent a lot of my time in London before buying Coxwood, and I always want to bring London up here, but I think we've done it. Because you're forward facing with the brands and the trends that are happening down south, and you bring them up there like different bits of sauce that you brought. I think that's and why shouldn't it be? Why should it take 6 years to something that starts down south to get to Yorkshire?
I think what I've sometimes struggled with is when we've got an idea, and I know you and Jen were kind enough to kind of take us down to London, and we had that lovely kind of experience down there. There's new products and bits and pieces that come out that you think we so need to be on the back of that.
Yeah.
And you bring it up here, and then it's just a very, very, very slow start. And I think some people are just not that quick to make that move until there's more of a hype of it elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, they do that, so we'll start doing that. So then our problem is, how far do you try that before you kind of push back? But actually, there's a lot of people that are interested in a lot of other things.
I was going to say, because I would assume your core customers are like early adopters. So they would, you push it with different drinks and different menu items. I then assume, right, that they have confidence in you guys that actually, oh, that's thinking glittery or that looks really funky, I might try that, but they wouldn't necessarily try it in Costa or
Yeah.
So I think that to me is that's when I think you're able to push the boundary with what you're bringing.
Yeah. I mean, social media, as we all know, is huge.
Yeah,
and as Gareth has described social media before as the baby of the business. And if you don't feed the baby, you don't look after the baby's not going to be happy. So we notice a direct impact on social media. So if we do some really great posts in the morning, then we notice a direct influence in the sales that kind of go through the day and what we're actually selling. So if there's a particular product that we want to push, then we can make that happen as long as the social media is there to back it up.
Yeah.
But it's got everything we do now. We always say to staff that is it Instagram ready? Because it's okay doing like a really nice fancy post and a beautiful picture, and then that customer then comes to your premises from that picture, and then they get something that's completely doesn't resemble what they've seen on post. So then straight away that person's then got, they haven't even tried it, but they've got a negative opinion about your dish. So that's why everything that comes out on the table, drink-wise, has got to be Instagram ready. And that's what we said to everybody, isn't it? Is it ready for Instagram? If it's not ready for Instagram, then it doesn't hit the customer's table.
Yeah, that's the right approach. It's absolutely the right approach. So I think that sometimes our problem is, again, we have some lovely products and things and work with some customers like yourself and other places, and then if our driver colleagues turn up and the van looks a shit show, they look a shit show, it doesn't give you guys the impression I want to get, translate, I suppose, across the board, and equally, they don't see it.
But we have that same thing. We've got 30 odd staff now. Across them sites, and Andrew's the HR department with all his forms and stuff that he likes.
I didn't sign up for it, but I got it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. We have dress codes. It doesn't mean that people follow the dress codes.
No, I mean, it was only like yesterday that I had to kind of approach somebody the other day, for kind of chipped off and broken nail varnish or something. It's something minor, but actually serving to that customer, it's not minor.
Yeah. Oh, it irritates me. So my biggest thing is around those, because I try most about different people, so I just have to put over it. No, but it's I find these little things that I know aren't a big deal, but I shouldn't let it slide. I just do it. Like, why are you making me have to have this conversation? It really irritates me. Can we?
Then I think that shows that you've got the care for that business, and it's all the little tiny details that people don't even realise, like daft things like sweeping over in the stairs, and just really daft things that I notice. Because if we go to venues, that's the first thing we notice. Like, our eyes are all over the place, like looking at bits and pieces that they've missed. And if we see that, our customers are going to see that, and we don't want that to happen to them.
We try and instill this kind of with some of the staff that were kind of opening the shop. Before we open the shop, put your customer eyes on. And what that means is just that, like, pretend you're a customer, go outside of the shop, walk to the shop, what do you see? Look at these bits that customers would actually be looking for.
Which is great, because we're in a lovely town centre environment, lots of drunks around, so you can imagine all the kind of stuff that you have to do on a daily basis, just to make sure that we have, the first impressions count. So our first impression isn't here when I'm sat here with you.
No.
Our first impression is that person across the road that's walking towards us.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
Like boxes, just on the side, or like empty car boxes shoved at the side of the bin or something. No, it's not. And actually, as a customer, if you're sat, you've got a longer time to kind of cast your eyes around that room and see these little bits, and all those little bits actually add up to something much bigger.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And customers have come to expect a level.
Yeah, no, and it's the same for me. But then the way I look at it is slightly different. I feed my local office. Yeah. Rihanna, people like Aiden and things worth us taking a chance on coming to work here. So I want to make sure that they get paid, and that's an ongoing security for them. So all the little bits, we get enough little bits wrong, so it all matters. But I think what irritates me the most is, you say, for example, one of our drivers, he doesn't wear a seatbelt. He tells me he does, but he keeps clicking it in and sitting on it. Like, you'll get pulled, you'll get fined. Like, you can see that, man. Like, why do we have to keep having the same conversation for something so minor? Like, it's your safety. I don't care.
I think fundamentally that's it. It's your safety, and I'm only trying to do what, as much as I can do. You have a seatbelt, just use it.
Yeah, exactly. Or like wash your top, like don't have stains. Stupid things. I'm like, it's because again we're going into lovely stuff. Like, it's funny when we just used to do cafes for the sport of business stuff. You could tell they'd been unloved for business for a long time. Staff didn't give a shit, and to a degree, some of the outlets went into shit either. But then now dealing with people like yourselves or some of the restaurants that we go to, I'm like, well, you guys have good impressions. Not that you've got, like say, you've given all this attention to detail downstairs and then got some slob guy walking in,
But we've noticed a change in that. So there's some people that come to do the deliveries now that they're amazing. And not just like they look well presented. They're kind and they're considerate. They're always helpful, even if it's not kind of their job to do so. And they're just trying. You see, there's that care, and they're chatty, and it's nice, and they actually have conversation, and it's really nice to have.
Good. No, I'm glad. It's nice to hear. Like, the thing that's it, like, I kind of want everyone to have a good, much like you do, good experience. Does it matter? Because you like much like yours, people go to towns and you can go elsewhere. It's it does matter. So, how long are you in now? You're in 6 years in?
6.5 years.
So, exactly what you imagined?
No.
What's been your biggest highlight?
I mean, if you take back to when we first opened, the expectation of what our business was going to be was Gareth to be doing the upstairs of the shop running on his own, and somebody to make the odd sandwich through the day.
30 staff team.
30 staff team. And on this site alone, on a Saturday, we're
12, 14 people on shift.
Yeah. So
15,000 steps on a shift.
Speaking of cardio gains, I suppose.
I think we've listened to customers, and that's been the biggest changing factor. Not because we wouldn't listen to customers to start with, but we brought something, and then very quickly you realised that actually it needed more.
But we did realise it needed more, hence why we chased that more element of it. But then equally it became like you said, that I'm feeding now, not just our family, but I'm feeding 30 other families or whatever.
The reliance on.
Then that all became on our shoulders, that we then chasing that next thing, or not chasing the next thing, but obviously chasing just to hit the same week as what you had before to try and survive. And then because you're that much bigger, your survival rate is a lot higher, and your achievement needs to be higher because you've got all them kind of debts that you've now got associated with it. We're very lucky though that all throughout it we've been self-funded. Because I know loads of people in the industry that, like, way before COVID, got loads of lovely, nice debts, and they've got fantastic buildings, and the premises look amazing. Then COVID happened, and we were like, oh bugger. But, they've all survived, like or people I know that survived during COVID. But then now they've got this massive debt to pay just because of their nice fancy refurb that they had. But also they've got all the other ongoing costs and stuff that they've had. So luckily we haven't got that element of it. If I wanted a new coffee machine, we've saved up for it. And then we've managed to, buy the new coffee machine. If we want to do an area up, we've saved up for it, and then we've done that area up.
And it's slower. It's a slower process.
But
downstairs is going,
It took us a year to move the kitchen upstairs,
Yeah.
and then finally to use that space that we're using downstairs. It took us a year to have the windows done, have fancy new tables, have all the bits and pieces done, and it's stuff that people don't realise. Like we're probably 20 or 30,000 into downstairs, and it's a little tiny room, but the amount of stuff that's gone into it's unbelievable.
Like the garden, the conservatory, it's really smart. Yeah, then
that's due for changing.
But then that's why I like it, because I think you guys are getting a bit fresh, not just menu, but premises and everything really. Like when you first did that out, really on check. Yeah, that keeps you.
I love the colour going in downstairs. It's called elephant's breath.
But then people I know you use like your dad and stuff to help you out. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
It amazes me that is how much I rely on my friends and family to help. Johnny came, done a few bits and things, and yeah, I didn't think I went into it thinking, oh, yeah, you can't afford it.
No.
Got to make it work, man. It's not. So, what's been, in terms of challenges, what would you say has been the biggest challenge that you expect coming into this? Have you hit what you wanted with Friday? Like, have you hit those social cues that you wanted in terms of balance?
I think we hit what we planned to do.
Yeah.
I don't think we got there because there's more than what we expected from Riley.
Yeah.
What you say?
Well, yeah, but we're still okay. Like
we're still able to take him to school in the morning. We're still there to be able to be after school with him straight away. Yeah. And that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And we were only talking to somebody the other day about, if his routine is disrupted, then he just kind of implodes. Yeah. So it's from that element.
Yeah.
I think that because how busy we've been, that's been a not restriction. That's been a sometimes a negative effect on Riley, because we love this business. It is our second baby, and we've obviously had to give that love and attention to this second baby. And even if we are like sat on a beach or something somewhere, and the few holidays that we have had over the years, we're still thinking about it. We're still communicating. We're still making sure that things are okay. Yeah. And we're still working when we're outside of the pool.
I take my laptop away with me. Gareth's on his phone. So on holiday, Gareth every evening laid on the bed, kind of going through messages, replying to emails, sorting other bits and pieces out. And there's me sometimes. I'm going in and reprogramming something on my laptop because this ain't working. So, and it is constant, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to do it. We love it.
Yeah.
And actually, there's that stress element of it, that chasing that adrenaline almost. Yeah. There's that element that.
See, Jen bollocks me. Jenny, I'm off. He tells she in the movie, and I'm like, well, just like do it. Just leave me be to do it, and everyone's happy.
But then at the same time, from our point of view, and maybe it's slightly different. I don't think it probably is. It's not going to be that much different, right. But from our point of view. Because I'll say to Gareth, just have fine, just turn it off, just ignore it, it's okay. Yeah. But actually, you think about kind of how we are as a society now, and somebody's inquiring, they want to book a party, they want to book a table for tomorrow, for the next week, whatever it is, and they might message 3, 4, 5 different establishments, businesses. Yeah. And sometimes it's not the preference that they go for, it's the person that responds the quickest.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So Gareth's always on about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we're the same. Like, if someone gets in touch with us, I make sure we're on it.
Yeah. Because you form that connection, you form that bond with that person, and then it becomes like a... So like, what Andrew's referring to is like things like baby showers. So like I'm like messaging them back straight away, and it might be 10 o'clock at night, it might be even later that we've done. Like messages when they message
office hours don't exist anymore.
Yeah. So to me, I'm chasing that because I know that like maybe a baby shower is £1,000 to us, and that's better in our, like we've got that budgeted in our thing rather than I think, oh well, I'll message them back next morning, and then like Andrew said, that other person's messaged them back and want that £1,000.
To your point there, like. Jane or whatever wants to take a shower, she's thinking about it there and then.
Yeah.
And if you're showing that level of service and care, then to your point, she gets the bond and she moves forward.
I want to say that this sounds really deep, but sometimes we've had really dark moments with Riley, like giving up moments, like
We've had a couple of key kind of people that have been able to help us through some pretty rough patches. And one was like kind of the deputy head teacher of the school and stuff, but actually without a few core people, our relationship would have broke down.
Right. And I was saying that, like, I think without old George, that I think we would have broke down as well, because
we would have done.
We say when you had really, really tough times, and I mean, like, you can't imagine how tough it were. Like, I could go on for that for hours, but like, we've been able to distract ourselves by putting ourselves into old George and not really not thinking about, but like maybe that distraction has helped us being able to survive as a family, like moving forward.
It has.
And that's testament to you two and what you put in here and stuff.
But Riley's got a great attachment to here as well. You know,
Yeah, he loves it.
He loves it.
It's not like, but then I think so. My dad had a job business, and I remember going, that was some of the best experiences I had as a kid. And yeah, it grew to me. And she loves coming here and different places. You know,
it's nice to see, you know, when you've been in, it's nice to see that she's quite happy to be in.
I carry that, but then it's too heavy now. She just wants freebies from the big man. Like, he's constantly loading up with chocolate and dropping stuff down. So I like all of that. Jesus Christ. But no, but then I think that's testament to you guys and his experience. It's funny, we chat. So he just had a little lad, and he's like, bringing me, you know, I want to get cooking and stuff. And I think that for all the plastic shit you can buy and things, that's what you're. Yeah, not shape and the second groups, you know, she'll see the work ethic that I've put in, she'll see you guys' work ethic and the struggles and the happy times. But yeah, it's good.
I think Riley thinks that, you know, when he's of an age where he can have a proper job, that, you know, he's just going to be the boss of everybody, going to be able to tell everybody off and sit in a desk and that's him sorted.
Yeah.
Made millions.
I remember specifically thinking after buying this 6 weeks in, be cool, I've been nailed off. Fucking 6 years in, now I got 3 hours sleep a night, it sucks. But no, but it's, I think
I think that's because you're a survivor.
Yeah.
And if you're not a survivor in this industry or in any kind of like self-employed industry, that if you're not able to survive or you're able to change and adapt and all them kind of like skills that you need, then all the people that aren't them people you will see fail. And unfortunately you see it all the time. Like in Barnes, in the last couple of weeks we've seen 3 places close. One of them were only open for 3 months and then gone. But people like don't realise how hard it actually is. Loads of people will come to us and go, oh, I'd love to have a coffee shop. I'm going to do one when I retire. And I'm like, we're laughing, thinking that, do you not realise how much work it is? You know, I've been in hospital. I've been like, you know, operations and bits on my heart. And the next morning I'm sat there doing payroll from my hospital bed. Because if I don't do it and Andrew don't do it, who's going to do it?
I remember Jen calling me saying, Gareth was in hospital. Well, he just rung me, so yeah, I think he's fine. I was like, oh, it's take it easy then, Jen. Yeah, good time. It's good time. So yeah, but no, I think COVID and stuff. I suppose we were able to pivot, although financially it was a disaster, into the home deliveries. Whereas to a degree, you guys just had to shut, and then some people sort of thought, the box out, you guys for the brownie boxes, but it took a bit of time to suppose get that rocking. Whereas we were fortunate, the supermarkets were out of gear, we had gear, so we turned it on.
I mean, financially, it were a disaster for us as well.
Yeah.
You know, closing for like weeks at a time and not knowing what you were doing, chucking stuff away because you thought the government had told you that the insurance were going to pay, all these kind of
stand by your staff and we'll stand by you, and it just didn't pay off at all.
It would have been better for us just to say, see you later to everybody, and then you know, try and rejoin.
But then you've got this connection with your staff as well. You've got this relationship. You build this like kind of family in a way.
But having said that,
it's an interesting family, but it's a family nonetheless.
Having said that, we did all right.
We did.
We did all right during COVID.
Yeah.
The little bits of help that the government gave was okay. You know, they kind of kept you going.
Yeah.
And then all the other things that like the brownie boxes, the opening for takeout coffees and stuff was okay. We managed to
I
survive.
remember when you opened the queue.
Yeah.
Geez, yeah, the police came down. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, we said we were going to open at like 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
And we were all here at like 8 o'clock. We were getting the cakes ready. You know, we were having some coffee. Thinking, oh yeah, it's nice to drink out of a proper cup.
So obviously at that point we were masked and visored, and we'd put a one-way system in and stuff ready for kind of people to think it. And we did a few cakes. You know, we'd done, I don't know how many we did about 300
Something like that.
cakes or something.
Okay.
So that's a few.
Yeah.
So we did that and thought, well, you know, if we decide that we'll open tomorrow, then we'll be fine, kind of thing.
So I kept like right, I'll wash the windows. Yeah, again, first impressions, counts and stuff. And I'm like watching, thinking, people are queuing. It's like only 8:30. I'm like, no. So then we were like, carry on washing, then looking out, like you couldn't see where the queue ended.
No.
So like when
And I
all
think
the
another
way up
member
the
of staff
road,
came in a little bit later and were like, you ought to see the queue outside.
I came down and I took a picture. Sent it to Jen. I was like, thinking, well, it's going to be busy. Jesus Christ.
So in the end, we opened the door about half an hour early.
Yeah.
So about 9:30 we opened the door, and by I think it was 9:45 we'd basically sold out everything. So me being reactive, I'm like, get waffle machine on, get this on, get that on. So we built a little waffle station within 20 minutes.
Fresh waffles, dished out to everybody that came through the door.
And then when we started talking to people, because obviously to us, talking is the biggest part of our business, the communication, the interaction. So we were all talking to people coming through, and then it were like, oh, I've been waiting an hour. I'm like, oh my God, waiting an hour. And then it was 2 hours, then it was 3 hours. And then the police were here directing people in the queue. Then Calendar News were here. Then it were like, oh my God, you know.
That's testament to you guys, though. That's testament to everything that's been discussed around what you built, what customers think of this as part of Barnsley in terms of heart. Because there were other places open, you weren't the only game in town.
No. I mean, the customers were brilliant. You know, they socially distanced very well. Yeah. But when the police stopped them and was like, what are you doing? We're like, we're waiting in here. Yeah. Why? Because we want to go there. But there's other coffees. You can get other coffees elsewhere. And it's like, but we want to go to Old George. Brilliant. Fantastic.
I mean, the council did phone us the next morning and said, yeah, we're real pleased, but however, we can't have this in the town centre, so we need to try and do something else.
But we sorted that.
Yeah,
because the next week
we had like an online ordering system. It gave them a time to collect all these bits. So technology was fantastic during COVID.
What I think we have always said this, where we as a business Scottish doing so well is we're good with our back against the wall. Like that's when we shut COVID. Or Leroy and Johnny was doing security. Lee knocked up the website and shop and buy straight away. Come down and collect collection times and all this, like within half a day.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. You know, whereas it took some of our competitors months. It was all over by the time they.
Yeah.
That's what matters. Yeah, that's what I like about something. Same with you guys, where you have an idea on a Monday morning and implement it by Tuesday morning. Yeah. And I think that's what keeps you fresh and keeps competition things. Especially because again, I find in Barnsley now, these 6 years, what is available in town. For you guys, I'd still say are the number one game in town in terms of how busy you are, all this sort of stuff.
I mean, you go on like the review platforms and bits and pieces, and you see kind of how you're rated, and that's nice to see.
Yeah. But again, it's evolving.
Yeah.
And leveling up, things different, and going back to old things, and trying to stick stuff out.
Had some bumps along the way, though.
Actually, COVID, was really hard to kind of get through, and we thought at the time, we're never going to survive this, but we got through it. Since then, I think there's been additional challenges.
Last year harder than COVID. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
agreed.
That's really, I think it's still done. Some stuff. I think people dying out of money and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you try not to kind of go on that kind of downward spiral, but it's unnerving sometimes. And like Gareth was saying about businesses closing, people don't realise how hard it is and the costs that are involved with everything as well. But when you have new places opening all the time in Barnsley, which is brilliant, and for the town centre, it's fantastic. And actually for us, it's fantastic because we it's nice to kind of keep yourself on your toes a little bit to kind of to keep you looking forward, but you need more people in town to be able to kind of bring people around as well. We need businesses. So when businesses then open and you've got customers coming in and say, oh, you've got another competition, that's brilliant. You know, that's really, really good. We need more businesses, and we would encourage more businesses to come in.
Well, we worked.
We don't want people to fail. No. So when they close, it's a damn right shame.
Oh, but then you see why find some but versus Barnsley, Wakefield doesn't have a lot of new stuff. It's so town centre's dead since it's been built Trinity. Whereas I think although they built the Trinity thing, it's still vibrant up here. There's still, like I say, businesses opening up here. There's no dead ends of town. It's really.
There is,
but it's not like quite Wakefield.
I think we've just seen like a big shift of things that's happening. Where we're lucky in Barnsley that we've got some affluent areas, and we've got some people that want to spend some money, and these people that have been going out. We didn't have an early evening economy at all, and we're not part of that. And we know that we're not a part of that, and we don't want to be a part of that. You know, we're happy with our 9 to 4 and be a part of the day and the brunch and the breakfast thing.
That works for us and our family. But
we didn't have this evening thing, and whereas all this evening trade been, it's been like all the Barnsley folk have gone to Wakefield, have gone to Sheffield, have gone to Leeds, and that's where they've done their evening thing. Now all of a sudden we've got an evening economy. And all the bars are booming from that evening economy because you go and have your meal at 6 o'clock and you have a few pints and you get on your way and stuff. And that's why I think it's been really good for Barnsley in terms of like creating a new little pocket of things that they've had, which they've never had before. No, but then equally, if you come in with your mate and you've had a really nice time, that mate then is bringing their family back because they're coming for brunch, and then they're going to have a little walk around the new shops and seeing all the entertainment elements and bits and pieces that.
That's fair comment. I think Wakefield over indexes on pubs and not restaurants to a degree, but then daytime, literally the only game is that's where there's variations of Costa. There's no real. I mean, craft's pretty good. Whereas I think here, you go to craft for a coffee, my opinion. Here.
Well, and that's back to where we first started. That's what we wanted to be. Yeah. But we soon realised that you need to sell a lot of coffee and a lot of cakes to even survive and pay the rent. Yeah. So that's why we pushed into like little things, like little sandwiches and stuff. And then I went to a product development day into for Merry Chef, and then that's when I liked it. I came back and I'm like, Andrew, this is brilliant. Blah, blah, blah. And Andrew's like, let me think about it. And I'm like, it's too late, mate. I've ordered it. It's coming.
Delivered 3 days later.
Yeah. I love it.
This pallet emerged in the middle of the kitchen. I'm like, what are you doing?
And then we put it into the kitchen and the chefs wouldn't use it. No. We didn't have proper chefs then. We had like people that could cook. They're like, oh no, I'm scared of using it. I'm like, it's £8,000, you're getting it used.
Well, I love it. I love it. I do love how you push it forward. You really inspire me. Because then I go back to I'm trying this. So, no.
You need a self-ordering kiosk. Yeah, like he's got over at the town hall now.
Nice.
Why?
Hey?
See, I love technology.
I do. But what I do, so, HR, right, let's swap that out, IT department, because it's me that has to do like some of the
programming. Anything with the self-ordering.
No, I haven't, because I refused this time.
It's good. Do you know the only thing I think about the whole we look at our journey? Do you know when you first start off, we were fraudsters in the industry, and I still feel like we're a little element of being a fraudster as well.
But I think that's why you push yourself, because I feel the same. Because my background's on Tesco, not chef, and I've had to scramble bullshit my way through some of it, being brutally honest, to get around. But then that keeps me pushing.
But when we first started, we knew what we liked in terms of coffee-wise and bits and pieces. So we approached them people that we liked. They wouldn't have known what to do with you. They were like, oh yeah.
In a way,
passed you off, didn't they?
I'm pleased that they did, because I don't think we would have done what we've done if they would have taken us on. I think we would have then just been another coasted and finished.
But don't you see? I've got this element. So before I bought Coach, really big salary, good job. A little bit fuck you and me.
Yeah.
Just gets me up in the morning.
Yeah.
Nah, things up. But then I think the same when some spies, you know, sorry for seen on this, seen on that.
But you know, like you said about like kind of, you know, you were selling to Tesco's and to bigger supermarkets, bits and pieces, not to chefs.
Yeah.
But do you not feel that you're only selling what you believe in anyway?
Yeah.
So if you believe in what you're selling,
Absolutely.
and we do,
Absolutely.
that makes your job
100%
easier.
Yeah, oh, it is. I never struggled like this morning. This morning I was up 2 o'clock in the morning again, and I'll be working for 10 o'clock. But it's not a problem. I'll whinge and moan at other people, but if they put it in my heart, it's not a problem.
No.
And I do that a million times.
Yeah.
But then I believe in this, you know, I don't let you guys down.
Yeah.
You know, but then where I've got to now is I only want to work. So we bring someone on, like one customer manager who approached us, went to see him, but he had an issue with one of our other customers who used to work with him, didn't like what. He's like, yeah, fuck, no chance. He's awesome. I love working. So, but that's where I think at times maybe it's hurt our business, but I feel like less of a sellout because I know you guys, Jen knows you guys, we know what you like, and we can sort of, when we look at the range, we can shop for you to a degree. This might get wrong, but might get right, and that's how we're trying to go, which is more personalised service. But you guys are the same customers. You know, you'll know what.
Yeah,
we do, but equally we do always stay away from like maybe what Mary likes.
we try and
we've always been asked for like, oh, can I have a jacket potato? I'm like, no, we don't do jacket potatoes.
and you can almost see him coming, and that's no disrespect.
Yeah.
The jacket potato squad are here.
Yeah.
They and it's like, no, we're not.
That's not good.
No.
No.
So what's next? So I asked Gareth. So now you're going to be a holiday. This man's going to give me some ratings.
We're approaching 2 different things, aren't we? We're looking at we're currently developing like a franchise side of ours, and how we can help and support other people with a franchise bit.
I think we are realising that we can't literally be working a kind of 40-hour week in 3 sites.
That's the challenge, but that's the challenge because you're similar to me. You've got more so than me, where you want that quality of service I've talked about at the beginning, and it's hard to do that because no matter how good the people you bring, no one will care as much as you do.
Well, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
But we are now at a situation where we want to do what we enjoy to do, and we enjoy the setting up, we enjoy the training, we enjoy the interactions,
We enjoy the customers.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we want to do. So hopefully the franchise like side of it enables us to do that and enables us to like maybe we have full-time jobs doing like franchising, just walking around and doing them kind of bits and pieces.
That will never stop us from jumping in and
No.
because we love that as well, and we would never want to see people struggling.
And then the other side of it is we want to develop like an express side of us, where everything's like grab and go, you know, coffee grab and go in like high footfall areas.
Well, we've seen the building just in between Huddersfield and Wakefield. Have you heard of Harvey's in Huddersfield? Like a fancy bar restaurant.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. They turned us. I thought it was going to be Starbucks at first drive. They turned to Harvey's Fast Eats.
Is it that one where like it's where the industrial estate?
Yeah. That's one. Yeah. I thought it was quite interesting.
Because I was looking at the sign because it only had the S at the end. I'm like, is it Denny's? Is it Wendy's?
Oh, is it that one?
Yeah.
I thought Wendy's.
Yes.
And they were testing the electrics and it came up through the bin bag. Yeah, I don't know. I always thought that might be quite interesting for you guys.
We wanted a drive-through.
Yeah, drive-throughs are really hard to come by,
Mm.
like in terms of rent wise. Yeah.
But it's like the setup of it as well, you know, like the space that you've got to have around it and stuff.
Again, because we don't want debt.
Yeah.
It's easy to go and get in debt and get a place where you want. That's fine, but then we just like we'll be scared with a £500,000 debt or whatever that you might have to open a site up. Want to try and be self-sufficient, don't we? But the express side of it, I think, is interesting and exciting.
Yeah.
And we're currently tendering for some sites.
Nice. And menu-wise, what's next with the menu? You guys changed fairly frequently.
We're working on it at the minute. Yeah, we're working on it at the minute. I mean, what we found, that last menu change has done really well. And we've gone back. At one point, we were in a position where kind of the stuff that we'd got and maybe like the inspiration that we got.
Yeah, but I think we come back a little bit, a couple of steps back, because I think years ago we used to try to be something for everybody, the site, and now we're realising that we don't necessarily want to be something to everybody. This is what we offer. We understand that sometimes that won't be for everybody, but that's us.
Yeah.
And we want to stick to our core values. So our core values are going to be around breakfast and around brunch, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, if you want a meat and two veg place, we ain't for you.
No.
If you want something that's like a traditional, I'm going to bring my nan to, probably not for you as well.
I think your nana would enjoy it, but but maybe not something that she.
But I think it's adventurous. What the best way I think to describe your food is adventurous, but will try. So like Instagrammable, but then your menu has some staples on it, like stuff like pancakes, things which are awesome and look great for Insta. But then like something special. I think I think my mama would try that, and it's safe enough because it's like a salmon-based dish. So like there's elements of safety, but then you'll jazz it up a little. That's it.
We want to stick with as much kind of produced ourselves.
Yeah.
Fresh, flavourful. Flavour is the main part. Bland.
But then we deal with spoon cafes, but all the people we speak to, Michelin guys, Rosette guys, and stuff, that's the exact same. Again, we're talking with Matty at Clarendon, and I think there's a marked difference between people who just want to serve food, people focused on flavour, and those guys win every time. That matters. Whatever you're setting, whatever you push. You guys do it. I don't think I've ever seen you anyone.
But again, as a fellow business owner, you don't always see the positives. You kind of focus on the negatives sometimes, trying to fix those, which is not a bad thing. But sometimes I'm guilty of it. We don't celebrate the successes like we should.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like hard to do, isn't it? Exactly. If I'm patting myself on the back.
Play your own trumpet.
Yeah. It's
It's like, say if we just rewind to Saturday, at the end of Saturday, I'm like, it's been like, not even looking at the figures or anything, just looking at, we have a queue system. So I'm thinking, we've only had 10 people queuing today. That must mean it's a shit day. Yeah. It's like, well, then we look at the figures and think, no, it's been one of the really good Saturdays. Yeah. And then you look at back and think, well, why have we only had 10 people queuing then? We've only had 10 people queuing because we've had a really strong team on that day. Like, the kitchen's been flying, screen staining green all day, we've had food out in 10 minutes. So we've been able to turn the tables around as fast as we can. Where we struggle sometimes because we're only a small venue. If you have a slight problem upstairs, like you were poaching eggs wrong or something were going wrong with poached eggs, so you took over that, and
the water wasn't up to temperature. Simple, but they're not going to work.
Some tickets then started slipping to 30 minutes, and it ultimately has a knock-on effect, not just on that person sat there or whatever, but me being able to seat them next people, because it's not. This sounds really awful, but it's not. You sat here and enjoying your meal or whatever. I need to turn this table 5 times to be able to survive, like a daily basis, and then it's all that kind of thing.
But it gets back to that service level, isn't it? If I come here for brunch, I don't want to be here for 2 hours. I want to have coffee, I want to have my food, I want to have chill.
We don't want you to be here 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Within the hour, that's.
We need you to have had 2 coffees and your food and your cake. And then take home.
But I think it's a testament to how you've implemented technology in your business and how you understand your business, understand your numbers. There's a lot of business out there that don't like the guy who bought our business. Isn't bullshit. We know now exactly how much today is costing and whether we're making money today or not.
I don't think we're quite there yet.
We're not there yet.
That'd be a lovely spreadsheet.
Yeah. We have loads of nice things to look at and stuff. and loads of statistics and bits and pieces, but that's not what we enjoy about business.
No.
So we only do the minimum amount that we need to do, and that's wrong. We know that that's wrong.
But we have got a couple of people that are on the team now that are a little bit more kind of focused. Rebecca is really kind of...
She loves statistics.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
She loves to come to the end of the week and have her one-to-one with Gareth and actually sit down. I've done my spreadsheet, and what do you call it? It's not an API. What is it?
KPI.
KPI. Something. And she loves going through that, and she's like, "Here, this is this, and I think we need to be doing this, and this is what it's costing staff today." Great.
Yeah. But it's also, of course, I used to work with this guy, had a really good phrase. He's like, not everyone can play drums and that. And it's right. You need people to do different things. You know, probably I remember Mark was phenomenal. Like, well, I just put my shit out there. It's a lot of time. Well, she figures it out. PCs a way through that, to be fair, to get to do the right thing. But yeah, in finance. But again, it's just that. I think what I've learned in the last 2 years specifically is more that, turn my hand to it.
Yeah.
So focus on my skill sets and bring in the right people.
Like me, I can't do cooking. I can't do the barista station, but I feel like I can wash the pots. I can bake. I can greet. I can clear tables. So I just want to do the stuff that I enjoy to do.
Yeah.
Because if I were to go in the kitchen, I have done for going in the kitchen on the short days or whatever, the moment it pings through, I get stressed. And it then another ping, and I know the business needs the pings to obviously the orders coming through, but I'm then stressing to myself that we've got an order, and I'm like, what's wrong?
Yeah, that's how it's good. But then you'd be fortunate, like, how was Neil being? Yeah, that's testament to you guys, and like, with what you built, Neil have seen a lot of change throughout.
I think Neil's of the mind now where it's like kind of whatever the business needs.
Yeah.
But I think that's because of the relationship that we've actually got. Neil's a great guy. He really is. Is the type of person that you really want on your team. And
we've got lots of other nice people.
We really have.
Very fortunate.
We've got some younger staff that are taking a little bit more of a lead, that have got so much potential that they absolutely cannot see, and we're working with a lady called Lisa, and she's trying to do some like one-to-one coaching with them, really? To try and bring on that confidence and kind of understanding that actually if you are confident in yourself, that doesn't mean you're confident, but then you can achieve.
About like the positive element and positive thinking. Because not just younger generations, but you can all get in a downward trend, can't you, in terms of thinking that, life's shit, that's wrong, it's raining and all this, like, where Lisa's like done some coaching with us, where we were very lucky that Barnes Council funded the coaching. And it's all about thinking about above the line and, like, what have we got to be grateful for today? What positives have we had today? And if we focus on them rather than the negatives don't disappear. They become less significant as what they once was.
No, it's really true. That's one area we fail is in terms of our training, because actually we're so small trying to do things. We've sort of changed that structure recently where we're trying to pay people more but then give out more responsibility. And equally, we've got some killers in our team, like things and Amy, and that's what we're focusing on our core team and getting support around that. But again, the training and stuff, we keep looking at things. But I think it's fine in business.
We'd love to do more on that kind of positive outlook, because I know, like, myself, how much of a difference that can make. Because I know that if I'm moaning about something or I'm negative on something, I end up here. And actually to try and look at that positive spin on things. So we all get there, and he'll do it with me and I'll do it with him. So the back hurts and I'm like, how can you turn that into a positive? I can feel I've got it back.
We were walking. I think we went for a walk in New York or something, and I gets out of the car and I'm like, oh, my feet are killing. And he's like, how could you put that into positive? It's like, at least I've got feet.
But then that invoked a laugh, a response, and that picks you up and gives you an eye.
It's easy to get down. But then I think the problem from COVID, we got flooded just before COVID. And I was, and then it's easy to be a doomsayer. It's let's have a session now. But then the last sort of 6 months, I've kind of in my head gone, okay, it'll be right. Let's move forward. So you can't do anything about that, Al. Talk to someone. And that's, I think that's helped a lot of relationships that I have as well, and a lot of that rather than just be make this easier. Especially, I don't know if you feel the same. Sometimes I feel, oh, we've got Jen, we've got great teams, but a lot of my friends are quite heavily involved in the business, but can feel quite lonely at times.
Yeah,
if you're not careful. Yeah,
absolutely. Because there's like stuff that I protect Andrew from, because I don't want Andrew to be worrying about it.
Yeah.
Because like I just feel, well, yeah.
I can't protect Gareth from anything, because as soon as he sees me, who's that? What's that? What's that? I need to know. Tell me now.
No, but there'll be elements like like say where we're both taking a role now where we're both more I'm front of house, you're back of house, and if like I'm sure there's stuff that you deal with that I don't need to know about, and you don't tell me, and equally there's stuff that I deal with that I don't then share with Andrew. But I more do like financial side of the business as well, and you don't really have anything to do with that. So I'm only like, I know the bat's due in 2 weeks' time or whatever, and you're thinking, oh bugger, where am I going to pull that from? So the stresses that I have, I won't share with Andrew.
So me and Jen, we try and share quite a lot, but I think we've kind of over the years figured out where our skill sets sit. But then the problem is things on the back, because we're and I do all this talking into my head, right? Normally, if you're inviting probably on, oh Jesus Christ, I need to laugh.
I'm telling the house all the time, and I'm packing it in, and we're running away. But yeah, most of the time, none of the time it's happened. Yeah.
Oh, really?
But again, I think that's because if you go back to these people that are going into business, if you're not willing to change, if you're not willing to take the risk, if you're not willing to do all them things, they're the people that won't survive. And they're the people that when you get your first VAT bill or when you get your first whatever bill that you weren't expecting,
I'm done.
They're the people that go, I can't do this no more. There's no way out of this. So
I think it's often the hours that people. I think you've got to be. I'm fortunate. I've seen a lot of my peers who start their own business. All right. But what I've learned, I know my man had his own place. It's that you've got to be better.
My parents have always had their own. My granddad always had their own. So to me, it was normal, like to come in kind of a self-employed role. To you, it's been a completely
different. I've always worked for, and so have my parents. So when we were talking about opening this, my mum and dad were like, "Oh no, you can't. What if this? What if that? What if the other?" I mean, they're so proud. They do.
With the hairdresser, you must have a skill set for that. I was kind of going back. If it doesn't work out, I'll fix it.
It did. It was reassuring.
Yeah.
And I'm still in contact with my previous employers and very, very good friends. So love them to bits, love them dearly.
Yeah.
They're just like family, and they've always said, and still would.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry. You've always got a place.
It's a nice pretend thing.
It's something that
like that kind of got me through the.
But we've both had transferable skills as well. I think
absolutely.
That was the important thing. And
well, like kind of the teaching and stuff that we've both kind of got elements of, that's helped us deliver certain things.
Yeah.
I think well. And then the customer kind of facing, if you were in training within the NHS, so he's got a customer effectively. So he was able to kind of communicate with them. Likewise in hairdressing, very customer focused, very one-on-one.
Yeah.
That was allowing us to kind of have that personable approach to people that I think people wanted as well.
I think we're rambling now.
I got a little chance. But, okay, well, to summarise it, guys. So, future is looking for new sites.
Yep.
New menu about launch imminently.
Well, we would we like to turn it around relatively quickly, but we are now in the process where I think within 4 weeks. So two.
Sky News thing come down for you, Victor?
Nothing's really progressed, have they?
That's cool though. So people can find you Instagram, TikTok.
No, not.
We do TikTok, but we don't. We like to look at it, but we don't really understand it. So therefore,
That's be honest. But yeah, so Instagram, Facebook.
Yep.
Website, you can order online.
Yep.
Southern Brown boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything. Come down, eat food, try coffee. It's awesome. Meet you two other people. Yeah, listen, guys. We love you a bit. You are my favourites people. We've been a lot together. But yeah, thank you very much for today.
Thank
For spending time with you. Anything more from you guys?
Thank you. No, just again, thank you to all of you, particularly yourself and Jen, for your continued support.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for joining us on another Chef Live podcast. I've been your host, Alistair. If you'd like to learn more about our business, you can visit us at www.cottagefoodsLTD.com. Give us a follow and a like on Instagram, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.